Hi everyone, how are you all doing? Can someone clarify if I'm audible? Am I audible, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay, all right. So we'll be starting in another 5 minutes till our speaker and more people join. By that time, can you all drop in the chat box from which year are you all? Because lately I got to hear that some classes are scheduled even on Saturday. We didn't know about it. So it's a humble request to you all that let us know before like a few days prior if you have any lectures so that we can reschedule the event, because we want all of you to take the benefit of this event and no one to miss it. So let us know in the chat box from which year are you all from. And if we have someone from other colleges, we would be glad to know your college name as well. Okay. There are folks from second year. Do you all have access to chat and mic? अगर किसी को एक्सेस नहीं होगा तो यू कैन जस्ट रेज योर हैंड मे बी, और अगर उसका भी एक्सेस नहीं हो तो लेट अस नो ऑन व्हाट्सएप, ऑन द व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप. Okay, really excited to see many of you joining. Oh wow, we have Tejas from JSPM College. So Tejas, do you have a GDSC at your campus or you don't have one? You all can even unmute and speak up. Is Arpit saying something? Okay, I think we have Arpit sir over here. Okay, wow, that's great. So we have students from not just AISSMS but many other colleges as well. And we are really excited to start this web development workshop and help you all upskill yourselves in web development. Ashish, can you share the screen?
Yes.
Is the
Yeah.
screen visible to everyone? I think it is visible. Okay, so we are good to start now. So Google Developer Student Club's AISSMS IOIT, along with our partner and collaborator REGex Software Services, welcomes you all for the MERN Stack Web Development Workshop. So this workshop is a 2-day hands-on workshop, and we'll be learning MERN Stack from scratch. We'll be learning basics, and this workshop will help you kickstart your web development journey. And I think it is pretty much essential for first and second year students and maybe third year students as well if they haven't started development yet. So like you get to explore various domains, and web development is one of the very exciting and interesting domains. So I am very proud of everyone who is here to learn and upskill themselves. And also this workshop is hosted under the Solutions Challenge. It is a complimentary workshop under Solution Challenge, which will help you kickstart your projects for Solution Challenge, build solutions that solve real world problems. So we are really excited, and I hope you all are excited as well. Um, Next slide, please. Yeah, so this workshop is basically to upskill yourself in web development. And for this workshop, we are going to learn the MERN stack. So I'll explain what is MERN stack. MERN stack is MongoDB, which is a database, then Express, Node, and React. So this is MERN stack, and we'll be learning all these frameworks with our trainer or Jen. And yeah, after this we are also going to work on a hands-on project so that you get experience of how these technologies work. And at the end of the workshop, that is tomorrow, we are going to have a quiz to check your understanding. So make sure to stay tuned till tomorrow. It will be a really brainstorming quiz and you will love it. Next slide, please. Okay, now comes the most interesting part, that is the rewards, and no workshop is complete without rewards. So we are you all are putting in efforts to learn and upskill yourselves, and therefore we from GDSC are going to provide GDSC branded t-shirt and stickers for the winners of the quiz. And we won't reveal the criteria yet. For that, you need to stay tuned till tomorrow. And apart from this, there's a certificate of participation to appreciate everyone who has attended the entire workshop, who has attempted the quiz. And at the end, we'll be sharing the feedback form with you all. So you need to fill that. And those who fill the form and attempt the quiz will get the certificate of participation. So that's it for the rewards. We'll share the criteria for the t-shirt and stickers tomorrow. So stay tuned till that. Next slide, please. Okay, now coming to our honorable partners, REGex, who collaborated with us for this workshop. So REGex is basically a leading software services company. And to explain more about REGex and to invite our speaker, our trainer, I invite Ashish Patil, who is also the web lead of GDSC AISSMS IOIT and a facilitator for this workshop. He has also interned at REGex before. He has taken many trainings from REGex and he really knows well about REGex, and he'll let you know how the company can help you as well. So over to you, Ashish.
Yeah, thank you, Pratna. So hello everyone, I'm Ashish Patil and I'm working as web lead and technical lead at this club. So talking about our sponsor and our partner, the REGex Software Services. So REGex is a leading software services company. They have helped a lot of students in gaining practical knowledge by providing quality services and working on several technologies like big data, machine learning, artificial intelligence, data science, Python, cloud computing, Linux, DevOps, Salesforce, MERN and MERN Stack, and many more technologies based on our industry standards. REGex Software Services have successfully deliver several corporate trainings in our top MNCs of our India like Capgemini, Cognizant, Dell, Infosys, KPMG, Honeywell, and colleges such as JECRC, JIT Jaipur, JIIT, Modi University, Computer Society of India, and again many more colleges and MNCs. So they aim to make students capable as per the industry standards who can serve industry in better way with their practical learning and approaches. And talking about me, so I personally work with the REGex Software Services as a Python Django mentor. So basically it was a mentor internship and it was great learning experience for me. And I assure you guys that you will be gaining a lot of knowledge and you will be enjoying this session too. Yeah. So now I would like to mention our trainer for this workshop, Arpit Jain sir. So Arpit Jain sir is working with REGex Software Services. He has more than five years of experience in developing full stack application. He has successfully delivered trainings in the companies like Dell, Capgemini, Mindtree, HCL, KFH, and many more technologies. So thank you so much, REGex Software Services, and thank you so much, sir, for accepting our request to address our students. So now I would like to invite our sponsor, REGex Software Services, to continue further for this session.
Thank you for a very warm welcome. So, hi guys, my name is Apit. So, I will be going through the journey of a MERN stack today. So, what is a MERN stack and how we're gonna go through? We're gonna find out. Along with this, we're gonna find out about the theory stuff like what is MERN stack and why we are learning in that. And in the tomorrow session, we're gonna make one project based on all the technologies that comes under MERN stack. So before going forward, just let me just share my screen once. Okay, I can't share my screen. Mm, Anyone from regex over here? Okay, let me join again from a different account. Just give me 1 minute.
Omkar, have we given the access to guests to share their screens? Can the guests over here who have joined as meeting guests, can you all confirm if you have the access to the chat box, mic, and to share the screen? If you aren't able to type in the chat box, we would be glad to hear from you in the GDSC AISSMS IOIT WhatsApp groups.
Prarthana, Harsh this side from REGex, and there is no access of screen presentation.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Harsh, for letting us know. Omkar, can we do something about this? Harsh, you have access to the chat box, right?
Yeah, we have access of chat box.
Okay, that's great.
So just a minute, we will make you as a presenter. Sir, can you please let us know now you have access for sharing the screen? Hello, sir.
Yeah, I have access. Okay, but okay, need to check with Arpit sir.
Yeah.
Okay, by the time Arpit sir joins in, can you all share in chat box like if you have experience with web development or are you completely new to web development and what are your expectations for this workshop? Okay, just let us know if you are familiar with web development or not and what technologies have you worked on. Like it's fine if you don't have any experience because this workshop is for those who are starting from scratch and also for those who want to learn more about web development. We would love to hear your answers. You can unmute yourself or yeah, write in chat box. Okay, Rahul is saying that he is completely new in web development. Why aren't others replying? Okay, you can just hit a like to Rahul's message. Jitesh has done a course in web development and made a project using HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, PHP. That's great, Jitesh.
Hello. Is anyone have the liberty to raise the permissions to share a screen? I guess. Okay, now I can
Yes.
share the screen.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, is my screen started sharing? Can anyone confirm? Can
Yes, your
anyone?
screen
Yes,
is
so your
visible.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. It is visible.
Okay. So let's continue. So before we're gonna come to the topics or anything like that, I want you guys to let's download few stuff and get ready with it because we're gonna use these tools. And what I want you guys to do it in today's class would be is that we're gonna run few commands about the technologies that we are doing, so that we can check are these technologies completely working on our system fine or not, so that we can prepare our system for the project that we're gonna do tomorrow. So for today, what we have to do over here is we have to install few things. First would be is a MongoDB. So I'm sharing you this link. This is a community download, download, uh, downloadable link that you can download MongoDB and install it in your system. It's a pretty straightforward process. So just go through this website, download the latest version that you have. If you have a Windows or if you have a Ubuntu or MacBook, just select it up and download the latest version of the community server. This is a tool that we're going to use. The second thing that we're going to use is a Node.js. So again, download the long time support version of it, 16.14.0 for your system, depending upon which system you are on. Again, it's for Windows. You can select your operating systems Node.js. And the third one would be is a VS Code. VS Code would be the text editor that we're going to use. I hope everyone is already having this, I am sure. So still, these are the three things you have to install. And coming to the last thing, that would be React. We're gonna understand how to install React as well. Okay, so before moving forward, I'm just sharing this link as well. So start your downloading process and get ready with the installation. Uh, okay, so let's start. Okay, so first we're gonna understand like what is MERN and why we are dealing with MERN. And before coming to the MERN, we need to understand one application. What are the different parts that one application contains? So let me just select a brush. Okay, so let's consider one application. Let's say it is Google's website. Let's consider it's a Google website. Okay, so what we do in a Google's website is when we open it up, there is some parts that we can see. Okay, so the parts that we can see in the browser is called front end. Okay, then when we search on it, when we are moving, doing some searches on it, we are getting hints, we are getting our top searches, we are getting certain things with that. So the thing that is sending these things to the front end, so that we can see those things, is done using again another component called backend. And how are we getting these things? These things are not developing themselves, they need to be saved somewhere. So the place where it is saved is called database. Okay, so the third major component would be here is database. Okay, so these things are the first ones that we encounter when we are searching on it. That's great. Okay, for example, we are on a google.com, we are searching for yahoo.com. Okay, so we are getting hints as well when we are typing Yahoo. Any links that we start from YA or anything like that, we are getting hints for it, and hints are sending by the backend. That's great, and it is dealing with the database. Like, do you have anything related to YA, YO, or something like that? And the database saying yes, I have some these things, and these are look like this. And after that, the backend will send these things to the front end so that we can see. Okay, so one complete application works like this. Okay, so how many components we have over here is basically three components, but there is one more component that help us to do these things. The one more component would be is routing, like how we are sending the request to the backend and what way we are sending a request to the backend, and it has to reach on a certain point in the backend so that it can deal with the database at that point of a project, at point of a code. So that has been done. Again, one more tool that do these things is called routing. So any application you take it, just name it any application, and all that applications contain these four major parts. Okay, and if we are dealing with the web application these days, there are two major technologies that are there. First is called MERN. Sorry for the handwriting. And the second is called me. Okay, so we're gonna understand these things, full form of these things. Okay, let me just ask you guys first. Anyone know what is the full form of MERN? I want it to be interactive, so anyone know what is the full form of MERN?
MongoDB, Express, React, and Node.
Perfect. So here, these MERN and means are just the short forms of the collision of the technologies that we're gonna use for creating application using certain tools. Okay, so this is a tool that is made with MongoDB. What is MongoDB now? Question arises. Anyone know what is MongoDB? Mo- Database. But what is
Database.
a database? The next question would be is what is a database?
Where we can store the for the storage purpose.
Uh,
Database.
No
There
SQL
is a number
database.
of entry. entry.
where we store our information in an organized structure. Can we say like that? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we have a MongoDB that is used for storing a data structure. Okay, that's great. Then we have E over here. What does the E signify? Anyone know what is the E signify? E stands for Express. Okay, so what is this used for? Again, I told you there are four tools and we have done with this part, but for reaching the backend to this part at correct position where it has to go at the correct request, that has been done using a routing. Okay, what is a routing? We're going to understand when we're going to start with the node, when we're going to start with the backend. Okay, let's assume that routing help us to contact with the backend and which further contact to the database in a layman language. Okay, then we have R over here. So what does R stands for? R stands for
React. React.
React. So React is our tool for front end. Okay, so and the last thing left is our node. Okay, so that is our backend. Okay, so in MERN, we deal with MongoDB as a database, we deal Express as a router, we deal React as a front end, and Node as a backend. And this complete makes one application for us. Great. Okay, then we have mean over here. That is again one of the quite famous tools. So what is a mean signify over here? So let's assume what are the common terms we have over here. We have M common, means M stands for MongoDB. We have E common over here, that stands for Express. Then we have A, that's unique. And finally we have N, that is for Node.js. Great. So anyone know what does A signify over here?
Angular.
Angular.
Angular. Okay. So again, this is again one of the front end tools uh, that has been there. Okay. So these are the basic four or five technologies that are used nowadays for creating any web application. And people now are considering web application instead of making any softwares or something like that. And this complete application, the person who knows the knowledge of all these four technologies together and make some products out of using all these technologies together, we called it a full stack developer. Okay, so everyone clear what does a full stack developer defines over here? The person who has a knowledge of front end, who has a knowledge of back end, who has a knowledge of database and know how to use all of them together is called a full stack developer. And I'm saying 100% of the IT companies, you name it, cyber security, banking, any any company, they need a full stack developer because at any point of a time they need to develop the applications, and the person who is going to develop their applications need a full stack developer. Name it any company. For example, there is one company that I know that has a startup related to biometrics. Okay, what does that mean? They are developing a technology, AI system, so that they can use this single mobile phone to biometrically identify that person clearly with the photo, with the fingerprint, and lots of other stuff as well. And for doing so, they are using machine learning. And anyone know what machine learning is? In which language we use? What language we use for machine learning?
Python.
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 Yeah. So we use Python for machine learning. We have a lot of tools over there that help us to do the machine learning in a very simple and straightforward way. But ultimately, they got the way, they find out the accuracy, they have implemented technology. But in the end point of that would be is they need a product that they want to send it to the their client's employees' mobile phone so that the client can identify their employees or anything. So they need to develop a final product that will be use those technologies so that it can implement something. And that is a case where the full stack developer is used. Okay, so we have understood about the cybersecurity. Like, why does the cybersecurity need persons of full stack developers that great? Let's consider banking sector. We have JP Morgan. We have other companies as well. Why they need full stack developers? What do you think? Banking sector. Anyone? Any idea?
To store data.
Yes. Your voice is very low. Any idea? Yes. Please don't make me come over here. Uh, don't react on the chat. I was not looking at it. Okay. Anyways, yeah. What do you think? What is the need of a full stack developer in a banking sector? Again, the same reason. They also need a product that that their banking companies, the banks will gonna use for their uh, getting their outputs, for data analyst, for anything, any tools that they use. They need a software, they need an application, and whenever you need an application, you need a full stack developer for making it. Anyways, it is using AI, it is using machine learning, it is using anything. It's need to be developing an application, and the final application is done using a full stack with the help of a full stack developer. Okay, so that is what we're gonna do. And now let's come to the topics one by one over here. So what is a MongoDB? What is a Express? What is a React? What is a Node? Okay, so we're gonna start with, let's say we're gonna start with, okay, Node is downloaded in everyone's system. Is
Yes.
it not? Okay, so
Yes.
Node is, okay. What is the status of MongoDB?
Done.
Done. Okay. Anyone who's still downloading, give a message or something to signify that there are people still in process. I'm not telling you how to install it because you all are software developers. You should know it how to install these things. I'm assuming. I'm gonna tell you how to check it, is it installed properly or not. But till that, I hope you can go through the installation process. Okay. Okay, let's start with MongoDB then. It will take time for us to come to the theory and then seeing the outputs. Okay, so let me just new one. Okay, so MongoDB, and we know that it's a database. We know that database contains information and information in a organized manner. But what are different ways to organize those information? That's the question. Now, anyone know what are the different ways we can use, we can implement on our database to organize the information? Anyone know? Anyone want to guess? Okay. So the simple ways is, let's change the question a little bit. What are different kind of databases? That's simple.
Structured and non-structured.
Structure and non-structure, but that's not the words that we use. I want proper words for these
SQL
things.
and NoSQL.
MySQL.
SQL, MySQL
SQL.
is a product. SQL and
Yes.
NoSQL.
NoSQL.
Okay, so there are two different types of ways to organize the data. One is called SQL, SQL. The second way is NoSQL. Okay, so NoSQL. Okay, so now we're gonna understand what is the difference between them. Anyone know what is the difference between them?
In SQL,
Yes.
there in uh, row and columns.
Row and columns. Okay, let's say we can put data in a tabular format.
Or we can say the data is structured.
Data is structured. Okay. Okay, data is structured. We got a new point. Data is structured. I'm writing the short forms. Data is structured. Okay. What about NoSQL?
Uh, in which semi-structured data and unstructured data, we can say.
Okay, semi-structured and unstructured. Okay, we're gonna come to this with the examples, definitely. Okay, next, what is the other difference? Okay, let me show you how the data looks like in SQL, how the data looks like in a NoSQL. Okay, so I'm gonna open my terminal. Okay, let's open my SQL first. Okay, let's open Mongo.
So
Okay.
in NoSQL, the database is in form of GraphDB.
GraphDB.
Yeah, in NoSQL.
GraphDB. That's not the way we can put the things. Not a proper way to say it. But let's take examples over here. Okay, so if we are putting some data of you guys, the people who have attended my workshop today, okay, and we want to put data of you guys in the database. So what we gonna do? Okay, so in those scenarios, if we put this data in the SQL, how would it look like? Okay, so first would be is identifier ID. Okay, like for example, if you are in a college, you must be having your roll numbers. That's uniquely given to you, not anyone else. So let's assume there is an ID, then there is a name, then there is a time that you joined, and would be assessment. So there would be assessment marks. Okay, and this will be stored in the way like look like this. We will be having tables, we will be having columns, and we will be having rows. Okay, so this is a way the database look like in a SQL. And coming to NoSQL, there are many different ways to look at the data, and we deal about just a MongoDB. How does the data look like? It will look like pages of the book. It will look like documents. So it will say there is one document that will have ID, name, there is time, there is assessment, there is age, and yeah, then there is one more document that will have ID, that will have a name, that will have a time. But in this scenario, they doesn't have assessment marks because they have not given the assessment and we don't even know their age. Then there will be one more child that will be having certain details with it. So in SQL, the data will look like this in the MySQL, for example, and in NoSQL, data will look like this. Like we have a put pages of a book. We have a pages of the book that is, and all the pages are related to that book. Definitely, if they are pages of that book. Similarly, in NoSQL, we call it collection. All these documents together collected to a signify a common type of data. Like this all pages are of the book called Children Who Attended the Workshop. So that will be our collection. So that is an example of MySQL. That is an example of MongoDB. There are other databases as well, and we're gonna restrict our research to this only. Now let's consider what are the different changes we have. Let's come to the point called hierarchy. Like what would be the hierarchy over here that we need to understand what are the different terms that we use in NoSQL or in SQL. Okay, so if we are in SQL, there is thing called database. I will show you. Okay, there is a thing called database. Then, okay, let me just show you. Online, okay. Okay, so there is a thing called databases where we can have different kind of data, where different kind of projects, different kind of informations, different collection of informations, we can say. Okay, and inside these we have tables. For example, let's say let's select one project. Okay, this is a blockchain project. Let's use this one. Okay, spelling is wrong. Mm, what happened? Yeah, not select. Okay, so there are four different kinds. It's a blockchain process, blockchain product. Okay, for again for NFTs and everything. So it has certain kind of a tables with it, certain kind of a data collection of data that looks like something like this. Okay, and there are other data as well that is not over here, that is present in the server. If we have got time, we're gonna log into server as well. I will show you that thing as well, no problem. But yeah, so these are the groups that we divided. For example, in the book, let's again take example of a book. In a book we have chapters. We have chapter 1 that contains information related to chapter 1. We have chapter 2. Similarly, let's consider these are the chapters of the book called Pangea. Okay, similarly there are other books as well that are present in my local database, and those books look like this, and we're gonna learn something out of it. Okay, we're gonna get information out of it in a organized tabular format. Like if we search for show tables, we are getting a table kind of a structure with the column name, and there are certain rules with it. Okay, so this is a way how the hierarchy works in SQL, where we have first we have databases. Let's consider we have different subjects or books, and in those subjects or books, we select any one of it using a command called use and the name of that database. After that, we have to select a chapter of that page, like what we want to read. So that is how it's work in the MySQL. So if I just do it here, so we have database. After database, we have to select tables. Okay, in the tables, there are two things, x-axis and y-axis. So we have rows, and finally we have columns. Okay, anyone has any doubts in this? Sorry for the writing again. Anyone have any doubts in this? Like, what is the hierarchy of SQL? We have seen this as well. Or let me show you one more way. Okay, so um, OLAB. Okay. Right. Okay, so we have data over here that is coming in a rows if you see, and there are a lot of rows. There are almost more than 7,000 of rows. So these are keep scrolling down for finding out the data and showing us two things. And it always organizes the data in the form of something like this. where the data keeps coming on for until it gets the data from the database. It is getting the data, it is showing us, and there are almost more than the data we can think of, and we can stop at as well. We can put some limits and everything. We're going to find out how to put that later on. But these are the columns, these are the rows that are coming up, and if you see there are vertical bars. Okay, let me just uh, and if you see over here, customer name, admin ID, phone number, anything. So these are the raw data. These are the what do we call? These are the data that contains columns and rows with it. Now coming to the MongoDB. Now what is MongoDB contain? MongoDB again, same hierarchy is there. There is something called database. Then there is something called okay, in tables it is changed. It doesn't have anything. Sorry, did anyone say something?
No, sir, you can continue.
Okay, so in NoSQL, we have database. Again, we have to select a database, but in database we don't have tables because table signifies structure something like this. But we don't have structure like this. We have structure something like this. The pages of the books look like this over there, and this is called collection. So in MongoDB, let's say we have a hierarchy. After database, we have to select the collection, which collection we are dealing with right now. And once we did that, we have IDs, we can say attributes or key values. That is the thing that we have over here. We have documents as a row. Instead of row, we have documents. This is one document. This is second document. This is third document. And the last thing we have over here is columns. Instead of columns, we have key values, like which attribute we are selecting right now. We are dealing with age, we are dealing with assessment marks, we are dealing with that thing. So that is a basic difference between the SQL, MySQL, and MongoDB. And now question arises, which one we should use? We should use for SQL or we should use for NoSQL? Like which one we should use? Before these recent 3-4 years, the option was very clear. Although MongoDB was still under development that point of a time, but the option was very clear when we think of the projects. Okay, uh, let's assume Facebook. Okay, we have a Facebook, very great product, very big product. We have lots of data inside it. Everything is there. What do you guys think? That is using NoSQL or that is using SQL? Yes, Facebook we are dealing right now. What do you think? It is using NoSQL or SQL?
No SQL.
No SQL, sir.
Netflix.
No SQL.
Okay, so in reality, Facebook is using SQL and Netflix is using NoSQL. Okay, let's take one more example. Amazon.
SQL.
Not particularly Amazon. Let's take any e-commerce website. We are developing an e-commerce website. And if we want to develop any e-commerce website, what database you gonna use?
SQL.
SQL.
SQL. Why?
Because row and
Yes. Somebody was saying something. I have come over here to argue, so that's why. Say something like you would use SQL. Answer my question, then we're gonna have a cross question. Who wants to come forward? You want to use SQL or no SQL? Choose any one. I will give you a cross answer.
SQL.
SQL. Okay. Which one? Name. Okay. What is the name? Again, I'm not able to hear. Okay. So SQL, you are using SQL. Can you tell me reason why?
Because it is easy to understand, right? In a table form, you can fetch the data easily.
See, you are becoming a full stack developer, and there is nothing a tool called easy. You are using MongoDB, that's great. You are using SQL, that's great. But you are only using those tools if you know it better. And you are saying SQL because you know how to use the SQL, MySQL, and you can fetch the data easily in MySQL. But people who know MongoDB, they will say, I know MongoDB, I will use MongoDB. That's not a reason. Let's assume you know SQL, you know MongoDB, you can fetch data from both of them. And it's quite simple to fetch data from MongoDB as well. We're going to understand, we're going to run some commands. So that's not a problem. Let's assume you know both of them. Then it's nothing like easy. Both are same. Just a different way of writing the same thing. I can write the same query in SQL. I can write the same query in MongoDB. I have made e-commerce both with the MongoDB with the SQL. Why are you using SQL? And I will show you a running product as well. I have projects running on SQL. I have projects running on MongoDB.
As per my opinion, I thought ki MySQL is much older than the MongoDB, right? So it will
Much
having
older.
the, yeah, can say that.
Okay.
So it will having more features as compared to MongoDB, as per my opinion.
Okay.
So
As
that's
per
why,
your opinion, it would have more features
yeah,
than MongoDB. Okay.
yes,
Uh, in India, there is car called Maruti 800. Everyone know what is Maruti 800?
yes, sir.
And there
Yes.
is a car called i10. i10 is new as compared to Maruti 800. Does Maruti 800 has great features than i10?
No, sir.
Then, if something is developing something new, it is developing something new on the basis of the drawbacks of the thing that is already present. If that is already good, why to develop new thing? Then, solid reason. Anyone have solid reason for SQL for no MongoDB? Solid reason, just one.
Sir, can you repeat again one question?
Yeah, question is you have to develop a e-commerce website and which database you want to use. And I want to know the reason.
Sir, I think MongoDB, because MongoDB uh, is based on cloud.
MongoDB will based on, I have not heard. Can you repeat? MongoDB is based on
Cloud computing, sir.
cloud computing. What is cloud computing? Let's see. What do you know about cloud computing? What is cloud computing? Frankly, I don't know about it.
Sir, we can store the data over the cloud instead of using the hard drives or is called data warehouses.
Trust me. If you are developing your company and you are suring that some other company will make sure your data doesn't leak, you are in a wrong field, I can say. You have to
Yeah, we
store
can
data
say
in
that.
your, you don't want to give, anyone a leverage of having your data. Data is everything. And today's the companies are fighting only because of the data. So anyhow, you have to store the data in your servers only. You can't give, reference to any other company. You can't leverage it out. Anything else. And cloud computing is something else, not this storing your data on a cloud. We can do that in SQL as well. If you heard about Oracle or something like that.
In SQL, we are storing data in rows and columns, so I guess we can access them more quickly as compared to MongoDB.
If I can prove the time used in SQL is slower as compared to MongoDB, then I can prove it. I will show you. Then
So we will use SQL like
the
structured
time
database.
is used by MongoDB is much less as compared to SQL if it is not properly developed. Otherwise, they quite perform quite similar. Hardly of 1 millisecond or something is a difference. If they both are developed quite well, but time is not the issue over here. Anything else? Somebody saying something
But
else, I guess.
in MongoDB, we can store any type of data. You can say that.
Like what kind of data?
Uh, so give me just a minute.
You
Hello,
guys
sir.
have, yeah.
I think I'll be using MongoDB because
Why?
when we are storing the records in the MongoDB, each record can have of fields, whereas in the SQL, each record should have a particular like a proper set of fields. For example, if we want to store a database related to school office system, each record should have a ID or name. But
Okay,
whereas
completely
in the
getting your point. You want to say that you can have customized documents, correct?
yes.
Okay. Have you heard about term called SQL injection?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What is it?
So there are such commands. By typing it, the hacker can access the data.
There is no such commands. SQL injections means hackers can put data if it is not validated inside a database. And if we have documents kind of a structure where each document can have different values, then there is a possible that they create a document with the script inside of having a virus. So we need to verify the data is of proper structure and it should have a limit number of values. For example, it should, if we are using MongoDB, there is a library called Mongoose where we put these restrictions that these MongoDB documents contain these values only. And the range of those values, we also specify that. If we don't do that, then there is a plausibility of hacking that into the system using the SQL injection. So whoever give that argument, we if we use MongoDB above the SQL, that too we have to verify the data. We have to tell that you can put these value only, these range of value. You can put name, first name, last name only. You cannot put middle name. We are not doing that. That is done by defining a way called schema using Mongoose. We're gonna learn that as well. But yeah, so that is not the point. In SQL we are doing on a database itself, and MongoDB we are doing it while putting the data inside MongoDB. So that is not the leverage. Although it's a plus point of having the MongoDB as a database over the SQL when we are just dealing with a database. But we are developing one product, and when we're developing one product, we need to take care of every loopholes. So anything else? Okay, cut to the chase. So point is that both can be used anywhere. It just depend on your ability to use them. Why I'm saying so? Let's take example of Swiggy. Okay, so what happens in a Swiggy is Swiggy. We see a restaurant. Everyone know what is a Swiggy is? Anyone who doesn't know?
Yes, sir. You know.
Okay, so what does a Swiggy do? Whenever you are a restaurant owner and you want to make account inside the Swiggy, you specify that I have these kind of a dishes, and you also specify in that you can deliver the order up till a certain range. Okay, and what does that means? We are creating a figure in a map where if the coordinates lie inside that particular polygon, only then we're gonna deliver that product dish to you. Otherwise, you will say out of out of deliverable area or something like that. Okay, so that in that way, what we really do is we set up the polygons. We made polygons in the database, and whenever we fetch a data for that restaurant, we get the polygon where the front end sends our coordinates to the back end, and coordinates put that creates that polygon on a map, put those coordinates and check is it inside the database or not. Okay, so earlier, around 4 or 5 years back, even before that, it was not possible on SQL because there was not no nothing as such called polygon where we can put data like. But due to the recent developments in MySQL and other databases as well, we can do that as well. So there is nothing as such, as per my opinion. Online you can find something else as well. But as per my experience and the products I have worked on, both any product can be made on any database. There is no restriction, and it depends on the company that they are working on. It depends on developers, backend developers mindset. Like MongoDB would be better or SQL would be better. Anything can be done in both of them. Okay, so that's not a problem. Anyone else any doubt on this till now?
So, sir, if any company asks you about the difference, so what exactly we kind of answer we have to give, sir?
So difference over here, we have discussed the points. The point would be one is that
Sir, I mean, like, not exactly the difference. Like, if they ask which you would like choose.
okay, let's say you are a Zoomer, you are an interviewer, you are interviewing me. So I will answer in this question. Sir, I can create products in both of them depending upon my knowledge. Where, as far as I know, I can create any product in both of them. But I have seen one limitation as well. One There is one kind of a thing I was doing. Yeah, I was creating a project from California. Okay, again, a Swiggy kind of a product. But over there, what the client want is that have you used Uber app before? Anyone who doesn't have used Uber app?
Yes, sir. We use it.
Yeah, so what happens in a Uber when we book a cab, it will go to request to the nearest driver. If he accepts it, that's great. If he doesn't accept it, the request go to the next driver. Right? This is how it follows. Anyone know these things?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is how it works. So that client wants that they wanted to do it in when their driver deliveries. So where they will be having delivery partners, and whoever is closest to the restaurant will get a request, and they will get only 1 minute to accept that request. If they doesn't accept this request, it will immediately go to the next one. Similarly, if it that doesn't accept, it will immediately go to the next one. And if let's say we are finding out there is a position that you are 5 kilometers to the north of the restaurant, and there is a driver that is 5 kilometers towards the south of the restaurant. The distance is same. Which one we should select? That's the again a question. Okay. So after doing so, if we are going with 5 kilometers, you are the closest one. If you both doesn't accept, then there is a doubt over here which one we should prefer. And if let's assume we are giving the request to both of them and they doesn't accept, then we have to increase the range from 5 kilometers to 10 kilometers. Whoever the driver coming in that range needs to receive a request. So in these scenarios, I want to do it we don't have any libraries or such thing. What are libraries? We're gonna find out. But the people who know about npm libraries, there was no access library to do so. That point of a time,
Your voice is lagging, sir.
I need to switch my database to the MongoDB. So in that project, what I did,
Hello, sir. Your voice is breaking, sir.
my complete database seems to be good. Yes, just give me 5 minutes. Okay, there is a problem. Can you hear me now? I don't think so. Yeah. Okay. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, coming to the point. So at that point of a time, I found out that there is a uh, trick over here that I had to do is I need to shift that part of the call to the MongoDB, and rest will work in my SQL. So that point I faced this problem, but apart from it, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
now yeah, is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So till now, anyone has any doubts in the MongoDB, because we are switching the technology now. We will run few commands, then we're gonna switch the technology. So anyone has any doubts?
So the before example which you were saying, we weren't able to hear properly, sir, about the Swiggy related.
Okay. Okay. Uh, okay. In the Swiggy related problem, what I was telling is, what I was telling in the Swiggy. Can you tell me what was the topic before that? Actually, I have a lot of examples.
So we are also discussing the Uber app. The request is forwarded
Yeah,
to the
okay,
next
okay,
track
okay.
and next track.
California. Okay, yeah. California project. Okay. So in that California project, lady, what was happening over there is the client wants that there should be a called request of a delivery should go to the all the drivers who are at the 5 kilometer away from the restaurant. Is the problem statement clear? Then it will goes to a 10 kilometers. Whoever is a 10 kilometer in a distance, then it will go to all the drivers who are in 15 kilometer of the distance. Okay. So this problem statement is clear to you?
So
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here there is a possibility that in 5 kilometers there are five drivers, and we are giving 1 minute to each of them. Anyone who has selected that accept, rest of them cannot. So we have to be very fast over here of accepting that request so that other players who are clicking on accept button at the same point, they will not be able to do that, because there is a conflict can occur, because it's a quite 1 minute of time. There is only 1 minute of time, and there is a possibility that two people together click on 30 sec and when 30 seconds are left, two people together click on accept that request. So which one to select that? Okay, so that is a problem over here. And the second problem over there was that after going from the 5 kilometer, I have to increase the range to 10 kilometers and exclude the drivers that I have sent the request before, then go to the 15 kilometers, 20 kilometers, and keep going forward until I reaches to the complete end of the city. Then I have to send a request to the admin that no driver has accepted. So admin can force a particular driver to do this job. So that is a client, that is a model that client wants. Okay. So in these scenarios, I was not able to develop this scenario without a certain library that is uses only on MongoDB, that doesn't work on SQL. So that is a problem that at that point of a time I need to shift my database from SQL to MongoDB for that project. That is the answer. Any doubt in this?
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so let's move forward. Yeah, is it clear to you what is a MongoDB really is?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So now let's run few of the commands so that we can understand like how to get inside the MongoDB and what are the things we have to do. Okay, so for that purpose, what we have to do is we have to install the MongoDB. So Everyone, I hope till now have installed the MongoDB. It has been almost 1 hour. Everyone have installed the MongoDB?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now how to run the MongoDB is that you have to just say Mongo and it will get you inside something look like this. Okay. So open the terminal and anywhere in the terminal and just happen to write this Mongo and it will open something like this. Okay. And if I
Hello, sir.
yeah
I'm
anyone
sharing the screen, sir.
Sir, your screen is not visible.
Yes,
okay
sir.
my screen is not visible. Okay. Is my screen visible now?
Done.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, so what I was saying, yeah. So for opening the Mongo in your system, you have to just say Mongo in your terminal and it will open something like this. Okay, so try out, open the terminal, write Mongo. If you are getting this, that means Mongo has been installed successfully. If not, then you have to install it again. So try it out. Tell me, are you able to do it after installing it?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
We
Uh,
are able to get it, sir.
Okay, so let's understand the first uh, command to you. This is a terminal. Okay, there is a different ways to learn the MongoDB. There is a one with a UI that is called MongoDB Compass. Okay, this is a want another way to look into the database, but I will not prefer this because we are the developers and we have to learn how to use terminal instead of UI made by somebody else. Okay, so this is a MongoDB Compass. We're gonna understand how to use this as well, like what are the different things it allows us to do. But we're gonna understand the commands only from here. Okay, this is a way we can run from the commands, not from the UI thing. Okay, so first command we're gonna see is like what are the database that is present over by default that are present in the MongoDB. Okay, so for that we have a command called show dbs and click enter. So we can see dbs over here. They are by default uh, admin config and local will be visible to you, not these two. Okay, are these three dbs visible to you when you run show dbs command? Do side by side.
Yes,
Okay, if you face any problem, we're gonna find out the solution. Are this command clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So and now let's find out how this command looks like in the UI. So if I open this MongoDB, uh, again somebody told me that we have to use cloud, cloud database or something he was telling. So that is a way where we can do that. Over here, when we do cloud using the MongoDB, we're gonna do that as well in the tomorrow. That is tool called MongoDB Atlas. We're gonna understand how to use it, but now how to connect it with the local one. The default address would be there. You just need to click on connect. It will connect it to your local database who will be running at port number 27017. So here if you see, you can see the database name, storage and all these things with it, and this data is exactly look like this. Yes or no? The same databases are
Yes,
present.
yes, sir.
Okay, and there is
Yes.
also tool over here that will do the same thing. Show DBs. Okay, so we can run the MongoDB commands over here as well. Okay, now let's come back to the here. Okay, the next command is like let's suppose we need to create a new DB. Let's say use um, let's say electronics. Use electronics. So for creating a new database in a SQL, there's a command called create database. Then the name of database. In this, you just have to say use. It will create. It will switch to a database if it is already present. Otherwise, it will create a new one. So if I enter this up, switch to electronics, even though it is not present over here. Okay, and over here it is not present. But if I just refresh it up, okay, it is not showing because I haven't put any detail. We're gonna put a detail, then you can see the updates. And if you want to check on which database you are on, there is a command called db. You can see you are on which database, and if you want to delete some database, you have to just run say db uh, drop database, and you have to be very clear what you are doing over here, because drop database is a very big thing. Okay, you have to be make sure here we are not typing the name of database. Okay, we are just selecting in which database we are on. We have to go inside that using a command called use the name of database, and then we have to run this. So if we run this, uh, it will say database has been deleted. Okay, so and if I say db now, it will still saying okay, I have to use something else, use admin. Okay, now show dbs. Okay, yeah, I have not put the database. Okay, I will show this command once again when we put some database inside it. Okay, now let's use some already present commands, already present database, so we don't have to develop something new. Okay, let's develop use electronics only. So again, I'm gonna say use electronics. I have switched to inside it. There is, if I want to say how many collections are there in SQL terms, it will show tables, but in MongoDB we don't have tables. We have collections. So this command is called show collections. There is no collection, so we are not getting any database. But what if we want to create a collection? So let's say db dot create collection and the name of it. Okay, let's say comments. We got it. Now if we use show db, I guess we can see, yeah, we can see electronics as well. And if we want to drop it, then electronics will be removed. Okay, but we're gonna do it once we understand the rest of the commands. Now let's assume that we want to delete the uh, database that we are using, like we are the collection that we are using, we want to delete the collection, particular collection. Okay, so let's assume, let's have one more collection, create collection, uh, uh, laptops. Okay, I will say show collections. I can see two collections right now, and I want to delete one of it. So how can I do that? db dot name of the collection, comments dot drop deleted. Let's see. Now I can see only one collection. That's great. Now let's put some items inside it. Okay, let's see how can we put items inside it. So for that, we have to say db dot name of the collection. Let's say laptop. Okay, then we have to put the name of the command that is called insert. So insert, inside the insert we need to pass an object, because MongoDB stores the data in terms of based on object, based on object. Okay, so that will be task. You guys have to find out what is it, why it doing that. Okay, it's a very interesting thing to know about. Okay, so here we need to pass the data in terms of object, and we need to specify what kind of a things its site contains. Let's say it has a name, window, and let's say price, 10,000. Let's say stock 5. Then I need to close this object and I'm just putting data inside it. Okay, and caught missing error. After, okay, I have not put comma and it will not contain comma over here. Okay, it has inserted the commands, and if I want to see this is inserted or not, okay, that can be done using db dot name of the collection laptops dot, and the command that allow us to see all the things that are present inside a particular collection is called find. Okay, and if I just say enter, we can see our data over here, and if you see carefully, we have something called id. Anyone know what is it? Anyone know what is it? Are you guys able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Anyone know what is it?
ID is unique identifier.
Unique identifier. So MongoDB by default gives a unique identifier, and it uses those identifier for uh, dictionary indexing. You can read about it. We don't have that much time. You can read about what is indexing. It's very important thing you should know because it's a must question when you are having a questions in database. It's a must question. What is indexing? Okay, read about it. It's quite interesting thing to know. So for that purpose, it by default gives a ID to every object it inserted, and it's looking something like this, where it's a one complete document. And if I want to, make it look good, there is a command called pretty that I need to put after the find, and I can click enter so I can see clearly how does it look like. And coming over here in the compass, uh, refresh it up. We got electronics. In the electronics, okay, we have two other different databases by spelling mistake. Because of the spelling mistake, it doesn't have a data. That's great. uh, Electronics, let's delete this lab. Okay, we have a product over here, and it contains all the things in this format. And if we want to insert something new over here, we have a add data, insert file, insert document. Insert document means we have to write document in this form, and then it will create a command using insert. But what if we want to insert many things together, right? We want to insert two or three different things together. So what to do in that case is we again have to say db dot laptop dot, there is a command called insert many, and that will be requiring an array of objects. So how can we write an array? Inside the square brackets, and inside that it will be having objects. So I'm just copying this thing, control C, control V. Okay, I have an extra bracket. Coming to this end, comma, one more, comma, one more. Let's say let's put change of price 12,000 thousand. Mm, Apple laptop. Okay, so I have made the changes. Three different types of databases with different prices or different name. After that, I will close the array, then close the object, round brackets, click enter. It has been inserted, and it will saying inserted IDs, and it is giving the data of all of the three. Okay, and now if I run the command find pretty, it will Okay, DB laptop. Okay, I again spelling mistake, instead of laptops, I just wrote laptop. So again, this is another problem with the MongoDB is that if we are writing a wrong spelling, it will not say you have written a wrong spelling. It will just create a new one for that. If you see over here carefully, this is laptops, but I have used laptop. Do you understand the mistake over here and what is the drawback over here for the MongoDB? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you guys able to understand what I'm trying to say here? I'm just running the commands, basic commands, like how to create a database, how to create a collection. We cannot do these things in detail because we don't have that much of a time, and we have to complete Node as well today. Okay, Node and Express. So these are the basic commands. We have DB laptops. Find. If I just make this one instead of laptops, I just make it laptop. I can see all the three objects over here. And what if we want a particular object only? Okay, we want an object, a particular range of object whose name is only window. So in those scenarios, I have to pass that parameters inside the find, where I have to say I have to let's say name window. Okay, let's see. We are getting two objects, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
But what if we want to find only one, top one? We want only top one. Then we in this, it's quite simple. The commands are quite simple, quite straightforward. So that is done using a command called find one. Instead of find, now we are looking for find one. If I click enter, I'm gonna get only one object, the topmost, the one with the 1,000 price. Do you see? Okay, and similarly, if we want to update this, okay, how can I update this? So db dot laptop dot update. First one will be requiring a tool that will help it to identify like which one to update. Like there should be a certain thing to clarify that I need to update this one. So let's say it has to update the ones which have a name. Uh, which have a name Apple. And it has to change that Apple. Second, I'm putting comma and passing the second parameter, which what it needs to do with this. And that will be say change the name to window. Okay, so over here it's something look like this. I am first passing the parameter to identify, and the second one the change it needs to do. And what if this data doesn't exist? Let's say instead of apples, if I say apple and I'm gonna run it, it got the result even though there is no data. Okay, it still got the result, and let's see what has happened to our database. It got only 2. It is not giving us the result that it has done something or not. Okay, so it will not again give us the errors that has to be done, and it will create a new one if it is not present. That can also be done using a command called observe true. If I just pass this time, click enter, it has inserted, means if it is not present, it will not update anything. Okay, so if we don't but there is a possibility that will say if it is not present then create a new one, otherwise if it is already present update that one. So for that purpose, if we want to do something like that, we have to pass another parameter at the last that say observe true. By default it is false, it stands for update or insert. Okay, so this is another tool. And now let's do one more thing. Now I, instead of apples, What I want to update is window, and I need to change it to Apple. Okay, enter. It will modify one.
गुगलचे
It,
करतोय गुगलचे डेव्हलपर
what
गुगल
happened?
डेव्ह कोर्स जॉईन केले
Any problem? Okay, let's
नो
move
सर
forward.
सॉरी सर
Okay, let's move forward. What we were doing? Yeah. So here, what I have written a command, like whichever has a name window, change that name to Apple and upsert true. It means if it is not present, it will insert one. Otherwise, it will update the already one. So we have something with the name called window over here and over here, but it is not getting updated because of. Okay, let's try it. Another one with the Apple. Remove this thing. It will not find out the error. There was one more problem with it that I need to find out a solution. Window Apple. Okay, let's see the result. Mm, okay, it has identified only one. Okay, because by default it is going for one. But again, there is a command with update as well. Update one, update many, and there is by default update. Okay, so there is we update is there with update one, update many. You can try that out. There is a command called find one, find many. Okay, and for deleting, like how can we delete something? For deleting, we have a command called db dot laptop dot remove. Inside that, I need to pass an identifier. Which one to delete? The name, which have a windows with them. Okay, and then I'm gonna come to the end of it. Close, comma, enter. It has removed one. Okay, but if we want to remove all of them, let's say Apple. But if I want, it will remove everyone which has the name Apple. But I want to delete only one of it. So that how can I do that? There is a remove one, remove many that can also be done. If I just run it up, it will say okay, there is an inverted comma mistake. It has removed all of the three. Okay, but if we want to delete one, that can also be done. Remove one, remove many. Those are the concepts. You can find out these things on the internet. So we have created, we have read it, we have deleted, and we have updated. Okay, so what are the things we have done? We have done CURD operations. We have done CURD operations. What are they stands for? Create, update, read, and delete. So anyone has any doubt on these commands? How to do the CURD operations in MongoDB by terminal?
No, sir.
Okay, pretty straightforward commands, and you can read more about them in detail in the what we can say in the online. Okay, let's move to the next one. Node.js. Okay, so in what
Sir,
we have to do?
excuse me, sir.
Yeah,
So in CURD, U stands for
U stands for update.
what, sir?
Update.
Okay, okay, update. Thank you, sir.
We have done the update one, update many, and upsert. All these things are come inside that. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now coming to the Node.js. Is the Node.js installed in your systems?
Yes, sir.
Everyone's system is installed with the Node.js?
Yes.
Okay. So let's see how to open that. Okay. So I'm coming over here. Exit. Okay. I'm going to say Node. And I can... what happened? Okay, so I am inside the node. It is saying welcome to node. What? Oh yeah, it is saying welcome to node, and it is giving us that we are inside a node. What does the node do? Let's say 4 plus 5. I am getting the answers. Where I have written. Yeah. If I say 4 plus 9, I am getting the answer. It means it is running. For example, console.log. My name is nobody. And if I say enter, it is returning these things like this. Okay, let's find out is it correct or not. Okay, so I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna open the terminal.
Excuse me,
Networking
sir.
tools. Yeah.
So when I am opening my command prompt, it is showing the C drive, right? So how can I switch it to the window one?
Sorry.
So when I am opening my command prompt, right? So it
Yeah.
will showing the C drive, then users and like that.
Yeah,
So
you
how
if you
can
want to open it in a particular form, particular folder, you can just go to that folder, right click, and open a terminal.
sir? I want to switch it on Windows one, right? Is the particular I can find anything, and not even a particular this drive.
Mm, yeah. Okay. You have to set environment variables. Do you know how to do it?
No, sir.
Okay. Environment variables. Okay, just look on the internet how to set environment variables. How to set environment variables. Okay, yeah. So this is the tutorial you can follow. Okay,
Okay.
where you have to set up the environment variable. Okay, it is quite old. Yeah, it will run in anyways. It will work. So Control C. Coming to the meet. Start. Okay, follow this tutorial where you have to set up the environment variables. You must know these things still. Okay. Anyways, it's quite simple. What you have to do is you have to go to the bin file of it. Okay, you have to go to your C drive where it is installed, find out program files or program files x86 or my program files, something like this would be the name. Okay,
Yes,
go
sir.
over there inside, and then you will find out a folder called node. Go inside that, then you will find out again a folder called uh, bin. Go inside that and copy the address of this folder. Okay, and after copying the address of this folder, what you have to do, these are the steps. Okay, follow these steps, you will get to know. Okay, just read on the online like how to set environment variables. Otherwise you can go to the uh, Instagram, YouTube videos. You can search for it how to install node, because there is no time, like I can't make you install node.
Yes, yes,
uh,
sir.
I hope you can
Yes,
do
sir.
it yourself, because
Yes.
it's only half an hour is left. I need to do a lot of things.
So otherwise you can use cd space path. You can copy paste the path.
Yeah, whatever you can find out.
This is for CD is for change directive, right?
Yeah, cd is
Yes,
used
yes.
for their changing directives where you have to set the environment path.
Yeah, I'll do that, but I tried this before, so I want to open the complete Windows over here because it is opening directly the C drive, right? Over here, so I'm not able to find because I installed the MongoDB and this Node.js in my F drive, so that's
Yeah,
why
for
I'm
yeah,
facing some
that
problem.
you can do. CDF double colon, it will change it to you.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, these are terminal commands. You can, or what you can do is go to that folder, right click, open the stuff. It will open the, they will get the option, right? Open this folder in terminal.
Okay, sir, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay. Where we were? Yeah. Uh, Developer tools of the uh, there's Chrome, and this we got something over here. Let's say 4 plus 5. We are getting an answer. Console.log console.log. Uh, okay, we are on not on correct page. That's why it's showing errors. These are the errors of this teams. But you can run the JavaScript files over here. Okay. So what is a node? Now the question arises: what is a node? So you guys know HTML pages or websites or everything works on three things: uh, HTML, CSS, HTML, CSS, and the JavaScript. You guys know all these things?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So HTML, CSS is the things that can be read by everybody. Okay, it can be read by our computer as well, and it can form pages like things. That's great. Okay, that's cool to know stuff. But the problem is with the JavaScript. The computers, the native machines cannot compile JavaScript. Although JavaScript is a programming language, it is developed to use it on the internet, but it cannot be natively run inside our system. So that is a problem. And because of this problem, before 2011-10, we use technologies like PHP, we use other backends, Java, Python, other tools as well for a backend, because ultimately the backend has to run in a computer. Server is a computer, everyone know this.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
it's
sir.
a computer, and if our computer cannot run JavaScript, how can the server can? So that is a problem, because of which front end is based on HTML, CSS, JavaScript, but backend is based on some other technology, and it is not easy for us to use the same language on the both end, on both front end and back end. But with the help of a Node.js, we can compile, we can run our JavaScript in our native machine. How can we do that? Because Node.js is a JavaScript runtime built, or you can say JavaScript runtime environment. Okay, this is a keyword that everyone under interviews will be expecting. What is Node.js? Node.js is a JavaScript runtime environment. What does it means? It allows us to compile and run JavaScript in our runtime. Okay, clear with this? What does the
Yes, sir.
JavaScript runtime environment or build means?
Yes.
Okay, so Node.js is a JavaScript runtime built on Chrome's V8 engine. Now, what is this? So, even the browsers cannot, browsers also cannot compile JavaScript directly. Okay, they have to develop the tools so that they can use those tools to compile the JavaScript present embedded inside the website they are developing. Okay, so for doing so, what they do, they make different engines so that they can run it. And the Chrome, the browser, the Google Chrome's browser, developed an engine called V8 engine, V8 JavaScript engine to run the JavaScript, okay, in the browser. And it's a open source. Okay, it's free to use, free to see the code or everything. Okay, you can find out Chrome's V8 engine in the GitHub as well. Okay, there is a GitHub repo as well for it. Okay, so the founder of Node.js used that Chrome's V8 engine and develop a tool called Node.js, which can be installed in the native machine so that we can run JavaScript in our in our runtime environment inside our system using the Chrome's V8 engine. Because if browser can use Chrome's V8 engine and compile the things, why can't our system do? Right? This is a question, and the solution of this question is Node.js, where Node.js allow us to compile to run JavaScript into our native machine. Okay, and for doing so, it use Chrome's V8 engine. Now they will again ask, do you know what is Chrome? The interviewer will again cross question you. Do you know what is Google's Chrome V8 engine? That is a question. So that is a run. That is a engine developed by Google based on C++ to run JavaScript. Okay, it's an open source tool. So it's based on C++, and ultimately everything comes to the C or C++. So it uses that to run the JavaScript. Okay, clear with this? How can
Yes,
we
sir.
check is it working or not? Just opening the terminal, writing over there node after you have successfully installed. You can look into steps as well, how to install Node.js in the system and everything. We are not going through the installation process. I'm assuming everyone hoping they would know why we are not doing so. Okay, so over there you can run the any JavaScript concept, any JavaScript rows or anything. You will find out that it is able to compile it. Okay, and Node is just that thing, nothing else. Okay, Node just uses allow us to use JavaScript. And why it became so famous is because with the ability to use JavaScript on the front end and the JavaScript on the back end, we can hire people who know the front end and the back end together, because they have to know only one programming language, that is JavaScript. We can run the same language in the front end and the back end. Okay, that is the biggest advantage of Node.js. Okay, there are certain other advantages as well. And the most important question they're gonna ask you about a Node.js would be is the Node.js is a single threaded or multi-threaded? Anyone who doesn't know what is a single threaded machine, what is a multi-threaded machine? Who doesn't know? You guys want me to explain that? Raise a hand. If anyone want to do it, I will explain that as well. What is a single threaded machine? What is a multi-threaded machine? Okay, so let's do that. Yeah. Okay, so we have a memory. Okay, we have a CPU. We have we have uh, we have ourselves. Okay, we are requesting something. It is processing it. It is getting dealing with the memory. It is giving us the reply, and CPU again processing it and sending us the reply. Okay, so here it can doing one process, right? It can deal with the one process at a time. Okay, here it is just accepting one request at a time. It will complete that request, only then it move to the next one. That is called single threaded. Means it has only one thread, one machine, one layman language, one machine. It has only one worker, layman language I'm using, one worker to do this work, do one work at a time. Okay, so that is what a single threaded means. But the multi-threaded is when we have a memory, we have CPU, we have multiple users, user 1, user 2, user 3, who are requesting at the same time. Okay, so it is doing the same thing uh, with multiple users together. So this is an example of multi-threaded. Okay, we can have multiple users at a time. We can do multiple things together. Okay, so when we want to develop an application where we want to make multi-threaded backend, in those scenarios we can't use Node.js because Node.js is a single-threaded machine, and majorly 90%, 95% of the products can work in a single-threaded way. Okay, so they don't have to work on a multi-threaded, but still there are certain applications who require multi-threaded application. At those scenarios, we can't use Node. Okay, but in that cases, there are other languages that we have. We have Java. You must be doing Java in your college, so we have a topic. The name of the topic: single-threaded, multi-threaded, where we make the threads and understand its working and everything. So that is again classic example of Java. Okay, and when we want to make application that requires single thing, then the best we can go for this a Node.js. Okay, so Node.js is a single-threaded machine. Okay, another tool that it another tool that we have is another advantage we have is that Node have two kinds of API calls. Okay, first we need to understand what is API. Anyone know what is API? What is a API? फुल फॉर्म ही बता दो नेट से देखकर.
Artificial
We can
program
fetch the
interface.
data through APIs.
Yes.
So we can use to fetch data from APIs.
Only we can only fetch data, nothing else.
Application programming.
Application programming interface, that's great. But what does it do? One use case is to fetch the data from the database, but it's not just that. Okay.
Google Maps.
Google Maps. Okay. How you have reached Google Maps? No. Uh, okay. So what is the API
Gmaps
is?
API.
Sorry?
Gmap APIs.
Gmap APIs.
Uber and
Okay.
Ola
Yeah,
use.
matrix distance APIs and everything. Okay. What do you do?
API is used for to get
Generating a request? Yes or no? We request to the API, right?
yes.
Either it has to deal
Yes,
with
sir.
the database or not, that's not our problem. What we need is we need to make a request. I want this. I don't know how you want to do it, but we have to do it, right? That is what the best use case of API is. Everyone agree? Anyone who have a doubt on this or something? Yes, anyone?
So apart from accessing data and all, it in terms it do with machines also. So interaction with.
Yeah, anything. But we are requesting something, right? That's what the means here.
Sir,
Not just the
Okay,
data.
sir.
APIs are intermediaries between two applications for
Yeah, that's
interaction.
a perfect Google answer. Okay. So it allow us intermediate. What do you say it again?
APIs are intermediaries between two applications.
Intermediary between two applications. Okay. So we have discussed that there are certain components of the application, front end and back end. Okay. The front end has to send something to the back end so that only it can receive something. Right. If you don't tell me what you want, how can I give you that you want? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So here, when we specify what we want, that is it done in the API. Simple thing. Okay. That's what the Google that definition was also saying. Okay. So
Yes.
here Node.js understands those two kinds of API. That is a synchronous API and asynchronous API. Okay, it's very important you guys to know about this thing if you are learning on a MERN Stack development. So what I'm doing for today is I am leaving this topic on you. Okay, read about it. Only then you can learn about the Node.js. Otherwise, there is no purpose to Node.js if you are little bit of confusion or anything. We will understand this in the next class as well. That's not a problem. We're gonna do it again. But at least give it a read. Like what is synchronous to what is asynchronous means, how they are different. Okay. Then we're gonna do some tools when we were making the project. Okay. But for now, what I want you guys is to read about this. Okay, can you do that for tomorrow's session?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just read about synchronous and asynchronous because it's a very important topic if we are dealing something in the backend. It's not just for Node; it deals with everything. Every application, you should know what is synchronous, what is asynchronous. Okay, that's why I'm not giving you a hint or any intro. Read about it. Then we're gonna discuss it in the next class. We're gonna spend good 15-20 minutes on this. Okay, I want you to learn something in these 2 days as much as possible. Okay, so these Node.js support both of this, and it has a great advantage of doing so. Okay, this is one of the advantage. Single threaded. Okay, one more thing. Node.js is also flexible and scalable. Okay, what do you guys understand by flexible and scalable? Flexible and scalable. Flexible and scalable. Anyone? It's pretty simple.
Well,
English words are
we can
these.
it's kind of balance the like
Yes.
load balancing the thing.
Sorry.
Means it can scale itself, like scale the resources if there are many requests.
Yeah. So what does it really do? Let's suppose we are making a application uh, where there will be 8 lakhs, 10 lakhs concurrent users. Okay. So that type of concurrent means using the application on the same time. Okay. So in those scenarios, Node.js help us to make the application, help us to make the backend, single-threaded backend with the scalable, which is scalable means which is can handle more number of users, which can use the resources flexibly so that it can uh, generate and fulfill the requirements of more number of users. Okay, these are the things that I'm telling you right now. Now these are the interview questions. Okay, all these tools, all the MongoDB thing, Node.js thing, anything what we are doing right now, consider it that this will be there in your interviews. Okay, I'm damn sure about it. So these are the things to fulfill the requirement. So this is the advantage, another advantage of Node.js. So what are the advantages we have done? Synchronous, asynchronous. You have to read about it. Then flexible,
Flexible and scalable.
scalable, and single-threaded.
Multi-threaded.
It's a single-threaded. No, multi-threaded was just the topic that we do. Somebody raise a hand that they don't know about it. So that's where we have done. Node.js is a single-threaded. Okay. Okay. This is a trick question again. One more trick question would be there. Like if it is a single-threaded, then how can we run two different requests together? This is a interview good if you are going for a little bit decent kind of a company, and the interview will ask this question: how can you run two different requests together if the Node.js is a single threaded machine, single threaded backend? Okay, so you need to find out the answer of this question as well. Quite interesting answer. We cannot do in detail. We cannot, give you the code example of it. I will tell you the topics that you have to read, but read about it. It's related to event loop and parallelizing. Okay, read about it. Find out about this stuff. This is again one of the interview questions. And there is one more advantage. There is total 5 advantages as far as I remember. There is one more advantage you can again find out on the internet. Last one that is left. Okay, so these are the things that allow us to that trigger us to use Node.js. Okay, but what about the things that how can we use the tools? Like for example, I talk about the library before. I talked about a library where that says that has a tool that allow me to do that Uber driver California delivery app. Remember that example?
Yes, sir.
So over there, I use the word library. What do you mean by that? What I mean by that? Anyone, any idea?
What's
Yes.
Sir, it is a collection of functions. You can say.
Collection of functions. Okay, so when we install the Node.js, now it also install one more tool called npm. Okay, what does this npm means? Npm stands for Node Package Manager. So This npm allow us to install multiple things in our system, multiple tools in our system together. Okay, for example, okay, let me just open something. Let's make a new folder. Let's make a file. Mm, index.js. Okay, and I'm also opening terminal on this. I hope so everyone has installed VS Code as well.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I have opened one folder, and in that folder I have opened one JavaScript file. Okay, and I'm on the terminal of this. This is just exact same terminal that we are having on the computer default terminal. This is the terminal of VS Code, the same exact one. It works the same thing. Okay, so over here, I'm gonna write one tool called npm. Okay, so let's see what will it do. Okay, I am not in the correct folder. Sorry. I am. Okay, I am in a correct folder. Workshop. Uh, let's say npm init will do. Okay, it is asking for package name, practice, version 1, description, no, endpoint, entry point index.js, yes, test command, no, git repository, we haven't created yet, keywords, leave it, author, me, no. Okay, so it is asking, is it confirmed? Yes, it has done it. Okay, and we got one additional file over here called package.json. Okay, so all the details that it was asking over here now, it is written over here. Okay, and consider it as a dictionary for the node application, for any application on based on MERN or mean. Consider package.json as a dictionary that will tell all the things that has been done in this project. Okay, so whenever we want to create any new application, what we do is we have to open that folder and do npm init, so that it will create one packet.json where that it will contain metadata about that project. Okay, coming over here now, let's I want to install something that will help me to color some things. Okay, so that for doing so, there is a tool that I have to use, npm install, and then I just have to say CLI color. If I just say enter, it will download itself anything, something, not anything, something, and it has got a folder called node modules. It got dependency added over here in the package.json called CLI color, and there's a package log.json. You don't have to deal with that. You just have to see these two folders has automatically appeared. Okay, then coming to the index.js, now I can use this CLI color to do something now, but what is it? We don't know yet. Okay, so coming to the browser, I'm opening a new terminal. CLI color. Okay, so it's an npm tool. Okay, so this tool allow us to do something, yet another color formatting console solution. So it has to do these things so that we can check is it working or not. So how to do it? First we have to run this command. We have done it. Install or I both are the same things. Then I have to do this. Okay, let's do it. Control C. Coming to index.js. Enter. Okay, let's use something console log default color, and I'm copying this. Okay, text in red, saving it up, and I want to run this file. So what will I do? I will come over here and I will say node and the name of the file index.js. Okay. Okay, it is so fast that it has run it and it doesn't have, we are not able to see it as well. So how can I do it? Okay, let's do it in terminal. Okay, so I will say exit, control C, control C. I will say node, not in the correct folder, so I can't do it over here. Let's say I'm using some other tool. We're gonna install this tool tomorrow, not now. Node index.js. Okay, so it will work exactly the node works. It will run the JavaScript code. Okay, so but what the difference is, it will keep running it. It will not stop. It will wait. If I sub changes over there, sub changes something like changes, and I control save, it again run that file. So it's not like Node.js run the file, stop it, go home. It's not something like that in the node. It's again one more tool for running the nodemon. Nodemon again one more tool for running the node files, node data. So if you see over here, the default color is white. Okay, if I write anything over here, the default color is white, but I want this text to be in red. So I have to write long piece of code or everything like that. So instead of doing that, what I did, I installed one dependency called CLI color using the npm, using the node package manager, and I'm just requiring it inside our variable and using that and calling a function of that. Red color is a function that will put these things in red. For example, there is a function called green. Control save it up. Now you can see it is coming in green. And there are other functions as well. You can read about those functions and how can you do it. Complete data is there. Okay, but it allows us to use outside functions to inside our files. So that is the power of npm. It's a very important tool to do lots of things in a very easy and a straightforward manner. Okay, and in this only we're gonna use one of the tool called Express. Express is the tool that will help us to do the routing. So let's see what is it. Fast, unopinionated, minimalistic web framework for Node. Okay, so what will we do? We have to do something like this, where after doing so, it will allow us to create routes. So that every slide slash, it will run this function. Like this. We will create routes in the next class when we are making the project. But it works something like this, help us to do the routing. And how to install it again, npmi name of it. Okay, it's something like Linux. If you have used Ubuntu or something where we have a command called sudo apt and the name of it will install it. Right? It's something like that, where it installs its libraries only. Okay, clear with this? What is Express? Express help us to do the routing. It's an web framework for Node. Okay, it's not like we have to use web express to do the routing. By default also there is a tool that will allow us to do so, but that is a quite long tool. If I come to the docs of node.js, um, uh, yeah, this http it will not no. Mm, yeah, so by default also the node comes with few of the libraries, few of the modules. Okay, one of those, there are so many modules in this. Okay, we're going to discuss only the famous ones. Okay, so one of these modules is called http. Okay, so it allow us to create server, create routing without using the without using the express as well, but we have to write a long code. So that's why we prefer to go with the express over the http. Okay, then there is a tool called file system. Okay, it allow us to read, write files and all those things. Again, you can read about it just clicking on it over here. We have OS, operating system. It will give us the details of operating system in which our Node.js is running. Okay, it will give exact data like how much memory is there, how much memory you have used, how much memory you have uh, left, like all kinds of data. If you want, I have one file that will there of all the important modules that you should know about a node and all the functions that contains them. I have the file. If you want, I can share it with you in the next class. Okay, so FS, use of file system, where it contains functions like read file, write file. HTTP used for routing. Then uh, uh, where is the tools? Yeah, path. This will give us if we are clicking with the we are requesting API requesting we are making, so it will give us the request data, like who sent the request, extension name, file name, all those things can be done. Addressing, like for example, somebody was asking to open the terminal in that folder, it is opening in default by C, like cd command that you are doing, where we have putting the proper address so that it can do that, it can go there. So for doing those address things, it is done using the path. Very important tool again. uh, it is this much tools, I guess. uh, yeah, these are the major ones, major three that you should know about. If I remember anything else major one, I will tell you guys. Okay. And apart from that, there are a lot of tools over here as well. Okay. So another thing that you guys have to install by next class is React. Create React app. Yes, that is again a library of NPM only. React is a framework of the front end. Okay, it help us to do something with the React. Okay, what is React? How to use it? We're gonna do it in the next class. But if we do something with this now, it will install it only in that folder. But maybe you guys need this and to create React apps in the entire computer. So that can also be done using installing this globally. Okay, so there is no command as such over here. But what you have to do is, I'm just copying it up, coming back to you. For installing React globally in your system, you just have to press -G, and you have to run this command so that it will install this create React app into your system globally. Okay, run this app, run this command in your terminal after installing Node. Okay, and we're gonna find out how to use this in the next class. Okay, or if you really want to explore, what you can do is npx create React app and dot in the folder that you want to do in. Okay, you can run this command and tell me what you are able to see. Clear with these things? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Anyone has any doubt, any questions that
No,
you
sir.
want to ask? Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, so that's it from my side. Uh, how's the lecture? I'm boring or what? Anyone? Feedback?
No, sir. That was good, sir.
Good?
It was good.
Knowledgeable? Learn
Nice.
Yes,
something?
sir.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we have not
Still
able to code much in the VS Code or something. You must be thinking we are doing theory, but there is theory that you should know before starting some things, and we have quite short time to do all this stuff. So in the next class, we will forget about the theory. We will just write the code, understanding what we are writing. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So apart from that, any other questions you have?
no, sir.
Okay.
Right now, not, sir. Thank
Okay.
you.
So that's it for today from my side. Let's meet tomorrow and create something interesting.
Sir, the timing will be the same for tomorrow's workshop.
Uh, Confirm with the persons you are in contact with.
Okay, no, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Guys,
Yeah.
tomorrow we'll be having our session at 10 p.m. 10 a.m.
Okay, 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, guys. Bye. Let's see. Let's meet tomorrow.
Thank you so much, sir, for this workshop. It was wonderful session. We appreciate your expertise and thank you so much for joining this workshop. And we are very positive moving forward with you for tomorrow's session. Thank you, sir. It was great session. I enjoyed a lot.
Okay. Thanks. Okay. So let's meet tomorrow. Bye.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And guys, I would also like to thank you, our attendees. Thank you so much for joining this session. And make sure to join for tomorrow's session because we will be having our quiz and also reward for tomorrow session. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you have any doubts, then you
Thank you,
can
sir.
ask.
Uh, Excuse me, can we get the recording itself in the chat box, right?
No, we will share a recording with you.
Okay.
And the recording will be also available on our GDC event platform.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you.